All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the DMP day two, if you will, day two of the retake. And just wanted to share with you. Let's see here. Let's go to day two in the Mighty Network. And so this is about gratitude and the awareness gap. So as you start to work on your DMP and as you start to put your DMP in place and you set your number, $100,000, what Napoleon Hill talks about is desire. All right. What Wallace talks about in chapter 7 is gratitude. What happens if we put the awareness? What happens if we put the gap of awareness, right? And we become consciously aware of what our state is as we begin to take action on the steps necessary, right? So I want to make $100,000 if that's the case. Somebody in the next 12 months, somebody give me one of your numbers. What's your number in the next 12 months?
250.
$250,000. Do you know what it feels like to have $250,000 of accumulated income? Have you made $250,000 in your lifetime? We're just in the collapsing of time at this moment then. So did you just have an awareness, Heather, the simple fact that when I asked you, have you made $250,000 in your lifetime? Well, yeah. What was the shift that happened when you realized you've made $250,000?
It's doable.
It's doable. It's not impossible. You wouldn't want it to take as much time, right?
Not at all.
So wouldn't gratitude be a time collapser?
I can see that.
You've done the work, you've done the energy, you've created it. You just need to figure out how to do it faster. Right? Bigger, better, stronger. This is the $6 million man. We have the technology. So what were some of the things you did to create the 250 over your lifetime, over the time, however much time you want to take? Let's say it took 3 years to make 250. Let's say it took 18 months to make 250. Let's say it took 5 years. Pick a number.
3 years.
3 years. So in 3 years, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your pen and I want you to write down some of the things you did in 3 years. What are some of the things that you did in 3 years to make that 250? Y'all can be doing this, by the way, for your number. What are some of the things you've done in the amount of time frame that you want? All right. Melody Beatty said, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So what are some of the things you did, Heather?
Sold insurance.
Okay.
That's back when I was in insurance sales.
What else did you do in the 3 years that you made that money? Talk to people?
Sold a house.
Sold the house. What else did you do?
Oh, yeah. I talked to lots of people.
Okay. So did you provide any service? Did you have to do any follow-up?
Oh, certainly.
This is what I'm saying is would it be fair to say that the skills that you did to make the 250, you already have them?
Yes.
Did you get rejection?
Yes.
Okay. So you got rejection, you talked to people, you followed up. Sounds like Jim Rohn, when they asked Jim Rohn, what do the next 10 years look like? He goes, pretty much like the last 10 years. There's going to be some good things wrapped around. There's going to be some success wrapped around some heartache, wrapped around some opportunity, wrapped around some frustration. The next 10 years look pretty much like the last 10 years. So now that you know that you've done all of the things to create 250, would it be fair to say you have the skill set, you have the awareness to say, I know that doesn't work. Did you do some things that didn't work in those 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. What are some of the things that you did that didn't work?
Well, it didn't work when I didn't work.
So procrastination, you could write that down.
Yes. Definitely.
In the 3 years that you did make the 250, did you do anything new? In those 3 years, did you have to do something new? Did you have to go into uncertainty?
Yes.
Okay, so write uncertainty down under the plus side. So would it be fair to say you might have to step into uncertainty to do 250 in the next 12 months?
Yes.
Okay, would you understand that you have $250,000 worth of uncertainty already under your belt?
Yes. I have that
So
awareness now.
now it's not so difficult, is it? Just because we haven't done it in a year, nobody has ever done what we're going to do in a year. You've never done it, but you've done it in 2 years. And I can promise you 50% of what you did in the 2 years didn't work. It's why it took you 2 years instead of a year. Would it be fair to say that it would be freaking awesome if we were successful 51% of the time?
Yes.
We weren't, but it would be freaking awesome if we were 51% successful. So your 3 years was only actually a year of effort. It was 2 years of dragging through the mud and figuring out what didn't work. The problem with saying I'm going to do it in a year is you can only do what works now. You don't have the luxury of doing what doesn't work. So any place there's a gap, right? You don't plan on selling the house, right?
No.
No. So take that profit. We got to figure out how to go make that profit up. Was that 150,000 of the profit?
90 is
90,000. So even easier. So we got to make up
Mhm.
$90,000. So that's 90 clients. That's 9 clients a month. Just from that, let alone book sales or product sales or educational sales or training sales or monthly subscriptions. So we got the house made up. So now we got to make 90,000, 250. We got to make up another 140,000.
Mhm.
That get us to 250. So another 140,000 over the course of so that's 14 grand, 12, was that 10 grand, 120, 140. So 13,000, 14,000 a month.
Yeah.
So now we're breaking it down. So 114,000 based upon your current production model, we're going to have to add some multiple streams of income in there. Right? You just don't have enough time to go do 20 clients, 30 clients a week and be able to spend any of the money you make. Right?
Yeah. Keep my sanity.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the max number of clients you could get in a year? I mean, in a week, what's the max number of clients you can comfortably, efficiently, effectively, productively take care of in a week?
12.
Okay. So, and they're on an 8-week cycle.
Yes.
So, Alexa, how many 12-week cycles are there in a year? I guess that's 4, right? Alexa, Alexa, stop. You're not Tony Robbins. Stop. So, you got 20 clients a week. And so that's not the same 20 clients for the 12 weeks, is it? Or is
Well,
it
it's
every could you do the first month? Could you do 20, 40, 60 clients on a 12-week rotation? 20 brand new clients each week?
Oh,
And
I
they
don't
start,
know. Maybe.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Are we looking at 15? But it's not 15 clients now for the next 12 weeks. It's a 12-week cycle. Every week starts a new 12-week cycle. This isn't I got 5 and I don't take anybody else on for the next 12 weeks. This is every week. How many people can you bring on? How many people could you start each week?
Oh, wow. Um,
And you have your intake for 1 month out of the quarter. And your quarters are 4 months long because the last person has to go through the last. No, that'd be the whole last week because the first people would finish the first week of the third month. So yeah, you have a 3-week cycle. You only take everybody on in the first week of the quarter. The first month of the quarter is when you can take on new clients. And then you bring in the scraggler who says, I absolutely need you. And you say, well, you missed the starting quarter, the starting time or whatever, and it's an extra 20% fee for them to be the odd duck out. So if that was the case, let's just say it was 10. That's 40 new clients. That's $40,000 a quarter. There's your 120, 40,000 times 4 is $160,000. So there's, and that's it. What is your 12-week program? I just did it at even 1,000. Is it 1,200, 1,800? What is it?
well, I have an 8-week program
All right.
for 1,500.
And what's but you don't have a, okay. So now we can even add another thing in there. So 8-week, that's 2 months. So that's 6 cycles. That's 6 turns, right? Like at a restaurant, how many times can we turn the tables? So let's just say it's 6 turns just for numbers, right? Because you're going to need you're going to need 2 months off, a month off here, a month off there. But let's just say you get 3 turns. No, you get 5 turns. Let's just say 5 turns and you take 2 months off, right? So you take one of those cycles off. So we're in an 8-week rotation. We get 5 turns out of the year, right? So we can take on 15 clients a week. Is that too much?
That would be a lot.
Okay, so 10. Let's say 10. So you take on
Mhm.
40 clients every 2 months. So there's going to be some marketing involved in this, but let's just say it's 40 clients every 2 months. Alexa, what's 40 times 18? Well, how much is it? 1,500?
15.
Alexa, stop, please.
Aren't you trading time for dollars at this point? I
But
mean, isn't
we're just trying to hang on. We're just trying to figure out the math,
Okay.
and then we can decide is it worth it. Because we got to figure out the math. We got to figure out what's our pain price. Because if she can sit and do what she does, she's showing up and making 180K. I don't think she'd mind not having to leave her house and taking 2 months off, and then we adjust accordingly. But let's just see what the numbers are. So how much is it a session? 1,500.
For that program is 15.
Alexa, what's 40 times $1,500?
40 times $1,500 is $60,000.
So there's your 250. That's 204. No, that's times 160. How much was it? Alexa, repeat.
40 times $1,500 is
60,000.
$60,000.
That's 300K a year. So there's your 250. Now, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you go through, you have enrollment months, and you say the most I can take is 40 clients in this month, and you schedule them. And I'm just saying these are the numbers. And at $1,500, 40 clients every 2 months, new clients is 300K a year.
I think that's doable.
Okay. So now the question is some of those may have to be, because there may not be 120 people. Are there 120 people? 40 times 200. Are there 200 people in your town who need the services?
Oh, there's 200 people in this area that need it. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Now, are there 200 people that you know that do you think there's 200 people that can afford it?
Yes.
Okay, then let's get to work.
Okay.
Right? I mean, what am I missing?
You're not missing anything.
Okay. Just checking.
No.
But this is what happens when you know your numbers and when you do your numbers. Okay, so you miss it and you wind up at 260 instead of 300. It doesn't go perfect. Maybe the last quarter you wind up doing 120 because you figured out how to streamline it and you did 80 clients. You hire somebody to do the whatever the normal stuff is. And so that's 10 client listen, so that's 10 clients a week. And you spend how much time with them? An hour?
Hour to an hour and a half.
Okay. And then homework on each client is how much? Preparing, note taking, whatever.
Oh, maybe an additional hour.
Okay. So let's say you got 30 hours. That's what you got tied up in it, 30 hours a week. So you're not an 8 to 5. You can adjust your schedules. And you're making 300K for 30 hours a week.
I'm all right with that.
Okay. So now your DMP just shifted, didn't it? My goal is to earn $250,000 on or before the next 12 months. I will do that by enrolling 40 new clients at the start of each session. I will do that 5 times a year, and I will take 2 months off when I see fit. And to do that, I will get better at my marketing. I will create ebooks. I will create training sessions. And that's the stuff you need to put that conversation into place of what's the price you're going to go pay to make 300K in what you already know how to do. Because you're not going to learn, you don't need to learn your trade any better. You'll learn it by default. You'll get better by immersion. But the price that all of us have to pay is the thing we didn't know how to make the money. We don't need to learn our skill any better. I can't get any better at Nikken if I've been at it for 23 years. I'm pretty good at it. But what I need to get better at is how to put more people through the pipeline. How to build more teams, right? We only get paid to do 2 things, find customers and build leaders. What's the advocate program? What's the referral program? So does it go from $1,500 down to $1,200 and you give $300 for a referral? Alexa, what's 200 times $1,200?
200 times $1,200 is 240,000 US dollars.
If you gave $300 referral for everybody, you're at 240,000. You gave away a marketing cost instead of spending it on Facebook ads. You gave it to everybody at $300 when you spent $60,000 in marketing to make 240K.
That's a good trade-off right there.
Work smarter, not harder. And then as you do that, what happens is your confidence goes up, your network marketing side gig nutritional business goes up, because that's not even including the nutritionals, right? All of a sudden you start doing some trainings and some teachings on that, and you get some referrals, you get some testimonials. And now all of a sudden people are coming to you with not ever coming to your office, and you got an extra 20K, 30K that makes up for the marketing. Maybe it was 60K in profit from the nutritionals that paid for the marketing for the referral. So have you looked at numbers like this before? Have you looked at your numbers like this before?
No, not like this.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, too long to have not been looking at numbers like this before.
Okay.
27 years. I've been
Okay.
doing this
Oh,
for
cool.
27 years.
I'm
Yeah.
glad we didn't have to wait for year 28 for you to find it.
Yeah, me too.
But this is what I do. It's logical. It's just numbers. There's no emotion to it. Then we decide, okay, I just don't really want to do that. So now what we need to do is, in order to get back to the 300, is figure out how do we market the nutritionals that you just came across that are pretty phenomenal and spectacular, right? According to the research and all of that stuff. And there's a whole nother line of it. And let that just generate the profit that pays for the referral fees for the other things.
Okay.
And then be so good that you got to say, you got to turn no people away. Listen, so so let's just say January's enrollment month, and then March is the next enrollment month. February, March, April, May is the next enrollment month. I have 3 slots. I have 3 slots left. The next opening is 9 weeks from now. So if it's $1,500, that's 5 and theirs is free, right? Like network marketing, 5 and free. They refer 5 people, they get theirs for free.
Yeah,
Sick people know sick people.
they sure do.
So now this is the gap. So now you sit now as you start to write your DMP, does your DMP become clearer now?
Definitely.
Because now you know what you need to do. You know what you can do. You can deal with 1 people or 40 people. It doesn't matter. It's just the amount of time you have to spend with them. You may not be able to talk about, rice pudding recipes anymore. Maybe you never did. But you also might be able to spend more time talking about rice pudding recipes, because you don't have to do the marketing for the $300, and people are trying to figure out how to imagine if all of your clients never paid. You'd have to raise your prices. If everybody just started referring people and you had to turn away referrals, you had a waiting list. What if you started right now? Hey, listen, I have a waiting list for my January sessions. Who would like to get on the waiting list? And I would start marketing that now. Listen, I just had a slot open up in November. Last week in November. I just opened up in December. We can get you in early, but you've got to really be committed, because and now all of a sudden, what happens if people start bidding to get into the, right? They do it on houses. I got asking price plus 20 grand.
That would be okay.
Right? But see, that's a new possibility, isn't it? Oh, well, I never thought of that, because I'm begging everybody to pay for the 1,200 and they don't even show up, the 1,500 and they don't even pay me all my money. So what happens if you use day 2 gratitude for the gap of awareness? GAP, gratitude accesses our power. I don't know. I just made that up.
That's good.
But gratitude accesses the power that we need. And we don't have to be strong when you sit in gratitude. You become powerful. You got to be strong when you're grateful. Man, I really want this to happen. I'd be so thankful. You got to be strong to hold that mindset. And most people aren't strong enough to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
So what shifts now? What did you become aware of? What changed?
I came aware of, I've already done it. Just took longer. So collapsing time and having an outline to collapse that time.
Have you ever taken
Incentivize,
care of 40 patients before?
not,
Just have you ever taken care of 40 patients?
yes,
Okay, then great. You could do this just because we'll just work smarter.
yes.
It's not hard to take care of 40 patients. Now, 40 in a day, that'd probably be a little hard. You'd wind up overlapping them. Right? Wouldn't you? But you would figure it out and you would be going, listen, I'm sorry but this is how has to be today because there's something that just absolutely, I can't do it any other way. And some people say great and others will go, you and the horse you came in on. But either way, you're fine and you're moving through the process.
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking for forgiveness. We're not even looking for permission. We got to get this done. These are the rules that we're playing in right now. Choose to play, don't choose to play. Either way is okay. Do it, don't do it. It's okay. Now you know what your price is you got to pay. What's the price you got to pay? So part of it is I'm going to offer $300. I'm going to give a $300 thank you for anybody who keeps me from having to spend $1 with Facebook. So one of the things you may want to do is create a referral criteria program. And you create a little 1-page, maybe a 2-page flyer that you put in a little folder you get from Office Depot that you give to your patients. Here's what you can give to your people, give to anybody who's you think would benefit from me so they can learn about it. And I'll help you create that. Put a little QR code on there. They shoot that with their phone and going, hey, listen, welcome to Wellness Matters. If you decide that you want to be a client of mine, here's some of the testimonials, and you have some of the testimonials that flash up on screen. Connie said that, the old Irish joke came in. Mary goes to the doctor and she comes home and the husband says, Seamus says, so what did the doctor say? He said, I'm fit as a fiddle. And Seamus says to him, so, and what did he say about your big fat arse? She says, come to think of it, he didn't mention you at all. So now you have some ways to just be creative. So you put a little video in and the video goes to it and they can learn more about it. You can tell them a little bit about it and show them a little bit about the office and why you're 27 years of success. And all of a sudden they call up for an appointment. Keep getting testimonials. The thing that's going to help you get to 250 easy is testimonial.
The library is growing.
Good. Yep. Awesome. So how you feel now?
I feel
Sweating.
great. Yes. Always. Always. Oh, this is good. Thank you so much.
Cool. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions? What'd you learn from this dialogue? What became aware?
Well, I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go and calculate my number.
Say again?
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Now it's clear.
I said that I'm gonna go and calculate my numbers and see what
Okay.
it and whether or not it's worth it for me.
Okay. And then don't let that number be the only number,
Agreed. Yeah.
right? And so the Z curve of customers, old customers, old products, old customers, new products, old customers, new products, new customers. So you've got all of this thing that everybody has 4 categories, 4 places. And what I would encourage you to do, Amber, is Heather, is to look at, when you look at that Z curve. So if you draw Z on on a page, old products, old customers, top left hand of the Z. The top line on the right is new products, old customers. Right, come down with the Z. New customers, old products. And the bottom right of the Z is new customers, new products. And then I would figure out where's your current revenue at. And if you have new products, new customers, and if you're the one creating the product, maybe the price of the product goes up. Everything else has gone up ridiculous. Who's bought a box of cereal lately? I look on the shelf just for giggles when I walk through. It's like $7 for a box of cereal. Are you kidding me? I kid you not. Number one, I bought it just for 2 months ago. Number one, upsized or supersized or whatever it is at McDonald's, was $12. $12. People are paying for convenience. I don't know where they get the money. I almost wanted to send it back, but my mother would have yelled at me. Just drove off after they told me the price. I should have just drove off. But we're in a small town and I drive a Hummer, so there's that son of a bitch who drove off. It's okay. One of them probably would have ate it. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions? What'd you learn from the
Well, it
dialogue?
was really interesting to me to go through the numbers like that. And at first I was feeling like, oh my God, you're trading dollars, time for dollars. And there still isn't a calculation of the time it would take to do the marketing and stuff. But it's the choice. Do I want to make $300,000 enough to work that hard?
Right.
And that, and the clarity is so missing from what I do. And I really appreciate getting more and more clarity. So that's part of what I was, and I was originally kind of just calculating out from what I've positioned myself to, independent of the bazillion theoretically that I'm losing faith in. But I positioned to make good 156,000 next year. And frankly, at this stage of my life, without working a whole lot harder, that sounds pretty appealing. To double that for me would, require much more stress than I particularly want to take on at this time. But I get that having the clarity makes all the difference in the world. So,
well, and the other thing is that if somebody said they wanted to do that, you could say, I got a plan. It's not in my wheelhouse, but I've got a plan for you to be able to work that. It's doable. Yeah. I know the numbers.
Yeah. And that's when I was a counselor, that's what I did. I figured out per hour what hours I wanted to work. And then when I wanted more money, I raised my prices. So that's what, rather than work more hours, I raised my prices and I did more groups and things. I found ways to do it, going around it.
And that's the other thing, when we did the Secret Sauce Challenge, we had everybody give a seminar, right? Give their 25 minutes. Part of next year is that we're going to do a challenge together. Whoever wants to do that, whoever wants to join the program, is that we're going to put a challenge on. You're going to do a 2-day challenge through my system, and I'll be your IT person in the background helping with the stuff, and you just go run the show. But you're going to do a month worth of 90-minute challenges, 2 days of 90-minute challenges. You're going to do 3 weeks of that. And then you're going to do a 4th week that you're going to drive them into. That's going to be the 6-hour, 12 hours of challenges over 2 days, or 6 hours over 3 days, depending upon the topic. And you're going to do a challenge, and you're going to build your list, and you're going to create residual income, and you're going to create a coaching program or whatever it is. But that's what we're going to figure out. And so you've got my system to use to go do that with. And now everybody's sucked the seat up right up their patuki, and
It's almost like you were talking a foreign language just now, Sean. Just so you know.
Yep, absolutely. And that's okay. And that's why it's not for everybody. But the challenges that I do, right? The next week I'm doing the self-talk challenge. And so Thursday, Friday. So it'll be self-talk, maybe version 1, version 2, because then I have all of those, right? I got a 3-hour program. And if I do 2 weeks of it, I've got a 6-hour program that I can sell and market for $4.95, or give it away when I'm on a podcast. It's all about creating content. And I do better, like most people, in doing content when I'm in front of people. You hit like, camera, action, I'm rolling, and I'll make it work. Dogs are spilling coffee or whatever, it doesn't matter. We went and saw sheep tonight. They are a Newfoundland cross. They look like the Serta sheep. They look like Shaun the sheep. And they were just, they got 50 of them. And so trimmed and clean. Ours looked like Bob Marley's redheaded stepkids, with the way their wool is all just right. These things, they had little socks on them because they lease them out to the state fair, and the state fair then gives them to 4-H kids, and they get to shear them and do work with them for 6 weeks and stuff. So they all come back, and they're all 4-H, like they got their 4-H sash on. Their little socks, their little black socks are all cool, and their wool is all just perfect. And yeah, we got McKinley, who looks like she nappy head. She got missed for shearing last year, and she's a mess. Anyways, yeah, that was a good session with Heather. Thank you for that, Heather. Thank you for always raising your hand.
And yes, thank you. And I have to say, there's another thing that keeps on rolling around in my brain. What does Heather do versus what Ruth does versus what Amber does? Because all 3 of them have 30 years of experience of changing people's lives, and yet they're different. So I'd love to see all 3 of them talk about what they do sometime.
So Heather, what do you do? Somebody asked you, what do you do?
I identify root cause of disease and help to correct that. Yeah.
Through energy and nutrition, and
with a number of modalities. Yes. But that's correcting chronic disease is my specialty.
Love it. And most people know if they have a chronic disease.
Mm-hmm.
You might say something now that I've heard you say that. You know how some people, most people would say they would call it a chronic disease, but the person who has it doesn't, because that's how they've been for so long. They just call it, that's the thing I have. Those are the people that I work with best, to help them correct it, fix it, and take on a new living that they've never been able to live before, a new life they've never been able to live before.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They've had it for so long, only their spouse calls it a chronic disease. They just say, I've had to live with it my entire life. So I take the unfair disease and I give them an unfair solution to fix it.
I'm glad this is being recorded.
Yeah, because when you say chronic, people who have it don't ever want to admit they have a chronic because it just sounds icky. It sounds yucky. And I've heard about it their whole life. And it's like, it's not chronic. I'm living with it. And yeah, it's going to make me die sooner, but I've already given up. So it's the unfair disease. It's the unfair diagnosis. And I give them the unfair solution to fix it. And these sheep were big. Oh my God, were they big compared to ours could walk under them. And these are still sheep. I mean, their head was probably only as high as my hip, but Gizmo's heads are just above my knees. It was so funny. They should be in Mighty Network. You could check with Rhea. She normally puts them up there. It should be under the recordings for Dangerous Consciousness. I'm sorry, what's this course called? The Master Class. Yeah, Definite Major Purpose in the DMP class. I've been doing sheep all day. Did y'all see Michelle's picture of Gizmo on the rock this morning? Y'all need to go to Michelle's Facebook page. I posted it as well. But it looked like we spent 6 hours trying to get the scene right and the background right. I said either this took hours of planning or Michelle just happened to catch a good shot. But he was standing on the rock with his hind feet on the earth and his front paws on the rock. He just looked so majestic. And he was looking right at Michelle. She called him and he turned his head. It's like one of those high school pictures when you're like, oh my God, I look hot. I'm going to prom. That was his picture. Let me see if I find it real quick. It's that good. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways? Everhart, what are you doing in the house? Oh, that's back in 2017.
You're right. That is super cool.
Isn't that, yeah. So here's the picture. Share screen. Look at
That's
this.
really cool.
Isn't that just, look at that. There's the Gizmo.
Oh, wow.
He's a stud muffin.
What a ham bone.
Exactly.
That should be a Rocky Creek Ranch advertisement.
It should, yeah. It's like, and these other sheep, they look like Serta sheep. You know, the sheep you count in the Serta commercial, the Serta mattress commercial? They're all nice and tight and fluffy and they got tight curls. I said, ours look like Bob Marley dreadlock. But yeah, that was Gizmo this morning. I took him for a little walk. I'm actually standing over here. You can't see his lead, but I took him for a little walk this morning. He wanted to go for a walk. Then one of the girls bayed and he like, get me back to my girls. So anyone else? Any last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways?
Let me ask about revising our DMP.
Yep.
Because I wrote this one that I loved and I've been listening to it. And it doesn't resonate the same with me now than it did in the beginning.
Okay.
And I feel like I need to change it.
So what would you change? What would you enhance? What would you transform? What would you upgrade? What would you take out?
Well, I had, for example, the monies that I was expecting and when and how.
Okay.
And those expectations have changed.
Okay. So then, yeah, it doesn't do well to have something that has a less than positive vibration as you're trying to manifest the other, right?
It's the vibration.
Totally
Got it.
agree. Yep. So it's the vibration. I really want those to come in. I mean, they're supposed to come in, but I don't really now. I'm losing faith in them. But if I say it now, if you've already don't hey, say, listen, what you could say, what you might say is, I plan to earn this amount of money, and there's other streams of income that are available that will come in as the universe sees fit. And don't disavow them, but
Right.
don't give it any more energy that's not
Exactly. That's
fully
what I
under
was.
your control. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yep. So transform, don't change.
Okay. And keep in mind the vibration is the most important thing of this whole thing because that
100%.
raises mine. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
100%.
Thank you.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Great question. Great awareness. Because it's that little thing. It's right. That's exactly what Waddle said. When it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way.
And one of the things that was interesting to me tonight is realizing ever since I met you, you've been telling me to do less and become more. And I'm so grateful for that because the doing this is like the, but the becoming more, it gives me juice. It makes, it's like the reason I'm doing all this stuff is to have more juice and to be happier. So if I'm happier, then I don't mind what I'm quote doing. But if it's just because I said I would.
Right. Well, it goes back to the story we all heard about the executive who winds up on the little Tahitian island to go out with the guy fishing. Right. And he says, "Oh my God, this is the best fishing I've ever had." He said, "I know." He said, "You could go buy fleets and I could help you and find investors." He goes, "Then what would I do? Then you'd build a shipping and you'd have a fishery here and you'd employ employees. And then after 20 years of that, what do? You'd retire and go fishing." He says, "I do that now."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm feeling. I love that.
So just that's the thing is that I like. Well, what would I do if I went and made 7-figure incomes? Well, I'd retire to a ranch and I'd get a couple of sheep and I'd get some chickens and I'd eat my eggs and I'd maybe grow some vegetables. Well, that's what I'm doing now. Okay.
A lot of what I'm looking at is, what do I really want? Who do I want to become? What do I want to be doing? Who am I? Because my worst fear is to sit around and watch TV all day long. I mean, which I couldn't do. I wouldn't do that. Or play free cell solitaire. I could do that. And that's not what I want to do with myself. So
no. I got to say, I mean, do you want to lose 30 pounds? Get a ranch. Cut some trees down. I've lost more weight and I keep cinching up on the belts. And I think this belt does it have one more notch? Yep. It's got one more notch. And then I got to buy a new set of belts or buy a hole punch, right? And start cutting the ends off like we did on the farm.
I saw that picture of you in the car with Scott Schilling, and I was like, oh boy, look at how much heavier he was then.
I had my own gravity field.
Skinnier, you were heavier.
No, I was a lot heavier. I ate my feelings. Yeah, I was 255. I'm now down to 220. Just 220, 225. So however much that is. A biscuit over 350. Hey, good morning, Ruth. Good evening, Ruth.
The fireworks that went off when I put my thumbs up?
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know how that works in Zoom, but anyway. So I wanted to share what happened and how I handled it and see if I could have handled it and see if I could have improved on it.
How many of us are guessing that there might be a slight chance? There could be just a slight hint of possibility of maybe some slight improvement. Go ahead.
I went to last night. My husband goes to me, when are you going to stop this stuff with Sean Murphy? And I looked at him like, what are you talking about? He's like, every morning you wake me up at 3:45. When is that going to stop? I said, I didn't think it bothered you because even when I turn off the alarm, I turn it on and you're snoring. So like, what difference does it make? And then this morning the alarm went off And he rolls over and just wants to like kiss me. I'm like, no, I am meditating. Like, do not kiss me. And okay, maybe I didn't handle that well. But I was just like, so then he went to work and I called him and I said, this Sean Murphy stuff gives me value. It is something that I want to do. And if you can't support it 100%, then you have to keep your mouth shut. I know that was a little tough, but I just was like, and then he texted me and apologized, but okay, I guess I could have handled it better, but I'm just annoyed that he's not
so ask him, what is it about it that's got you? Is it because I'm not spending the time with you? Ask him, what would, if you could wave the magic wand, what would it look like? If I could still do it and you got your druthers. Because if you're asking me if it's an all or nothing kind of thing, I don't think you and I both, I think we're more mature than that. You and I know that's probably not a good solution for either of us. So I'm giving you the paint, I'm giving you the canvas. What would it look like? Yeah, it is a lot of time. And some of the things I show up because they got the call. I don't even know if I'm part of that or not part of that. I just love this community and I'm always getting nuggets. And Nikin keeps sending me people. I don't know.
So I talked to my daughter and she says, why don't you get an Apple Watch? And then first they said, put my phone on vibrate. I said, that's kind of useless. I need a ring, an alarm to wake me up. I can't just put my phone on vibrate. So my daughter said, why not get an Apple Watch and then vibrate in the wrist? And I thought, okay, that's a good solution. So I text my husband. I said, I think I'm going to go buy an Apple Watch. And he's like, well, why do you want to spend that money? I'm like, what? I have a solution. It won't wake you up. I should buy this watch. So I think I'm going to go tomorrow and buy this watch, but whatever. Anyway, so I do have a solution that maybe I won't wake him up. And the other option is I said, he goes to bed before me. So he's asleep by the time I get to bed. I said I could sleep in the guest room until 4 and after the call, then come back and sleep in our bedroom. And it's only Monday through Friday. I'm okay with that too. So I have solutions, but I don't know if he's going
to. But they're possibly 51% you and 49% him. What would be the win-win-win? Because the last person we want to get upset is Ruth trying to figure out a solution because there's usually maybe some blood involved.
Just so annoyed.
So yeah, just say, hey, listen, before I go spend the money on the watch, which I think is a valuable solution to not wake you up. Is it even the waking you up? Because I don't know that you remember it because you're snoring by the time I get out of bed again. So just help me understand. And yeah, it's a lot of time. But I think I'm getting better now. If I'm getting better and you're getting madder, then that's probably not a good solution either. So help me paint the picture here. Because I do know that if you say whatever you say, you're going to do anyways, but it's just, you want to give him the chance to see if there's a way that, his waterfall can fall into your pond. I don't know. It's just, well, how does it make sense?
Okay. So I will ask him if he had a magic wand.
Yeah, if you had a magic wand. Well, I don't, because guys, we're not creative typically. What do you mean magic wand? What are you saying now? What do you, listen, I mentioned it on the call because it bothered me. I don't want you to be mad at me for taking care of me. So help me.
Yeah.
Right? How long have you guys been married?
36 years.
36 years. I don't think, we don't need a call to get between us, but I really like this. So I want to figure out how it makes sense. 36 years we've been doing this. I promise you, this isn't the biggest problem we've ever had in our marriage. But I don't think at 36 years we should even have an issue. So I want to figure out what is it? What does it look like? What does it sound like? How do I make it work so it works?
Yeah. So you texted, one of the texts throughout the day was that, don't worry, I won't mention that you doing this every morning. Like he just won't say anything, and that's not a solution
No.
either. So I was just like, what? That doesn't make sense either. So
Yeah. Say, so you could say, I've got one of two solutions. One, we move to the East Coast, so it's not an issue with the time. Or two, I get an Apple Watch. I'm not sure which you'd rather do.
Or he just joins us in the morning because we need more guys on here. Anyway.
I did see that, Paul. I said, Paul is on there. I said, why not just put on speaker? We both can listen. I'm not doing that at 4 in the morning. Yeah. I need to be calm about it. I know that.
And here's the thing. With this energy that's surrounding this, you'll be able to probably wake up without alarms anymore anyways.
Yeah, I just don't trust myself.
Well, and here's the thing. If you miss it, guess what? You got to sleep in and next to your husband.
But I don't want to miss it.
I understand that. But my point is that sometimes the sun is even behind the clouds. And so if you happen to miss a day and you got to snuggle with him, you know what you should do is just wake up at 4 and just snuggle him and like, what are you doing? Well, I can't listen to Sean, so I'm just going to snuggle you and love you and whisper in your ear, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you. Get out of me.
I'll have to try that. I'll let you guys know how that goes.
You'll have 2 Apple Watches on each hand. These were gifts from my husband.
It's a good idea.
My husband will probably go to the other room and sleep.
I'm willing to go to the guest room. And he doesn't want me to do that. So
My gosh. Too funny.
yeah, I may have enough time to go get that Apple Watch tonight, actually.
I love it.
Thank you. Just send me good energy so I can discuss this.
But think about it. See, here's a funny thing. We're laughing about it, right? So it's 6 months from now, it's not going to make a difference. I mean, it's really, it may still be a problem, but so to go at it with anything other than just joy and happiness, saying, I like it. You're sleeping, so I just got to figure out how to not wake you up. And I don't want to not be with you. 36 years, my feet still get cold and whatever, right? I love it.
Thank you.
I've been noticing that they're not the conversation, not the community, which I adore, but the actual what you say is on YouTube, so that when I finish my meditation and I finish my scribbling in the morning, I can usually catch 20 minutes of Sean, which is interesting. But I missed the whole conversation around whatever he says.
I love it. Well, thank you for showing up there.
Good evening, Sean.
Go ahead, Paul.
I don't have much. I just I have to get off the call, but I just wanted everybody to know I talked to my mom tonight, and she's coming home a week from tomorrow.
Oh.
So
that's because she's Dutch, but the other thing is that we got to get her out of here. We got to get her the hell out of here.
Well,
she's driving us nuts.
Yeah. So no, she's doing well. I've got a week to get a lift in there so that she can get into the house. But I mean, if worse comes to worse, we'll just pull her up in the wheelchair. But to begin with, but so I will be moving next Wednesday into Mom's place for however long it takes that we're comfortable that she can be on her own. So
I love it.
It's it'll be more conversation time.
Well, and the thing that I love is that I was probably 32, and my mother said to me, she said, "You'll always be my baby." Now, she was mad as a hornet when she said that. Well, Mason's still our baby. He's 20 years old. I never grasped that. And so now she gets her little boy, right? To be with her again. And it's, you're a biscuit over 60. So
Yep. And of course her first comment to me was, yeah, but you're going to be further away from Lorraine. And I said, Mom, it's only an hour. I said, that's nothing.
from the guy who previously drove to Orlando.
That's right. There you go. So anyway, and my sisters are there to look after her on the weekend anyway. So I get my breaks on the weekend.
There you go.
It's all good.
I love it.
I get to do this.
What you say to your sisters is, oh, Mom's talking about her will, and watch, they'll be relieving you 3 times of a week.
Oh no, that's already been.
No,
we already did that as a family when Dad passed, and it's
but you could always say, Mom was asking me about that. Did you guys know something? I watched it. A little stick stir.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, good. Glad to hear Mom's coming home soon.
Yeah, we are too. It's been, by next week it'll be
6 months.
Almost 5 months.
5 months.
Anyway, so
bless her heart.
We're happy. She's happy. Her attitude is amazing. Like, if you're ever down, just go visit my mom.
There you go. I love it. All right, everybody, go have an amazing evening. I love you bunches. I appreciate you. Thank you. And moral of the story, know your numbers. And once you know your numbers, then you know what you need to do. Then you know the price you want to pay, and could be too much, not enough, could add more, whatever. And then just realize that leverage is a good thing. And many of us have that in our business model. So leverage. Put it back in your hands, whether you get up at 4 and snore or not. All right, everybody. I love you tons. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all where?
Next time.
Next event. Thank you.
Next event.
Next event.
All right. See you at 4.
I'll be there.
All right, everybody. Love you bunches. Bye for now.
Good night. Thank you, Sean. Love you guys.
Thank you.